The live stream on a Thursday night. Ben's back. Ben, how are you?
Hello. I'm good. I'm happy to return after a very unexpected and long and somewhat painful hiatus from the live stream. So it's good to be back.
Mood, yeah. No, we're so glad to have you back and joining in all the on the comeuppance that we get ourselves into here on the channel. As you know this. We've missed you. It's been a little off balanced here at ATYL, so we're good to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Sweet. So good to see all of you in the chat as well. Heels Rule, always good to see you. Adam, always good to see you as well. Our Adam will probably be joining us sometime later in the show. Or at some point. So just he'll be here just as an FYI. But there's some news things to talk about today. Obviously, Watkins Glen coming up. Dom Joseph is actually at the track right now, so he sent us a video from the track he has a talking point he wants to discuss with all of us. So we'll definitely bring that up. And oh yeah, and then I guess we can just get into it too, just with our recap of in the Indy Road Course. Also, lots of love in the chat. John, good to see you.
Hello, John. Thank you. Thank you for having me back. Yes, it's nice to not be in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
So
But
there's the points.
I think we'll talk about it later, but the NASCAR Classics website would have been probably really nice to have.
Yeah, it would have been great. Instead, I just laid there and watched nothing. It was awful.
We're gonna have to get into that.
I could quote every season of Impractical Jokers to you. Basically, at this point, it's great. Like, this is my life now.
Okay, so first off, it's a great show. There's some episodes that are worse than others, but also a great show. But yeah, very quotable.
Oh yeah, super quotable.
Yeah, and Heels Rule, you said it in the chat. I'm definitely closing the gap.
2 points.
I don't know how this happened, but it happened. And I'm okay with it.
I didn't realize how many, I knew we all had a win, but I didn't realize we all had this many wins. Even like Brandon having 3 wins. Like, wow.
Yeah, Brandon got the win this past weekend at the Indy Road Course, and I actually realized, I think the past 3 weeks I've been calculating his points total incorrectly, so this is what it actually is right now.
Sorry, Brandon.
Sorry, Brandon.
Wow, yeah, I didn't realize Dom's got 5 wins. Jeez.
Yeah. No,
it's a good top 3 battle, and then Adam, it's the rest of us in the back, and I'm okay with that.
You know what though? Here's the thing. With the playoffs, we have a new format. I won't explain it now. I'll explain it when we start going playoff racing. God, we have 2 races left, and then we're going to the playoffs.
It's insane.
The season's flown by. So we'll talk about it then. We have a good system in place. So hopefully, the winner of the everything is a good winner. We're all good winners. So it's just a matter of who's able to be the best of the rest when the playoffs hit, as it is in NASCAR.
Exactly.
Since it's the Go Bowling at the Glen, highest game you've ever. Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, we'll answer this right now. What's the highest game you've bowled?
Probably like a 150. I'm not good. And I know like 300's like half, but like I'm not good.
I mean, that's better than okay, so fun fact about me. I'll do a side tangent before we get back to like points, but I was actually on my high school's varsity bowling team.
That's the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, so it becomes less cool when I tell you the reason. We didn't have enough girls that were in bowling to be on the varsity team. So my average score was like a 100 or like a 95.
I mean, like, that's an A. If you break it down, that's awesome though. Like, we didn't have any bowling teams in my high school, so like that's cool.
It was such a fun like little after school thing, and now I want to go bowling again. Every time I see that like the Watkins Glen go bowling at the Glen, I'm like, I really just need to spend the weekend just at a bowling alley for like 2 hours, just like Wii Sports Resort. Wii Sports, just live that out.
It's a solid like. That's like 2 hours is like the perfect time. You get in, you do a game or two, you have like maybe a drink with your friends, and you sit and you talk, and then you leave, and then it's perfect.
For real. Also, sometimes bowling alley food, sometimes it's good. Sometimes. Not all the time. But anywho, with the Indy Road Course, we had an unexpected slash expected winner with Michael McDowell, and it kind of shook up the points a little bit. Obviously, he's now locked into the playoffs on a win. I think his win was very well deserved, though, and everything below the cutoff line now that was a little shaky. I think who's still in the fight right now? Obviously, Harvick, Keselowski, Wallace, and Suarez. I say Gibbs, yeah, still has a chance, but Elliott and below, it's like you gotta win. Um,
Yeah.
but like, how did you feel about Michael McDowell winning? Like, what were your thoughts?
I mean, this is one of those things we've always known. He's been good on road courses. Like that's been his bread and butter. There's a reason why he used to drive Gibbs equipment in nationwide series at Road America. Like this is what he does. It's big for that team, especially it in like they've now won that 34 car is now won at two like gold standard tracks for the sport.
Yeah,
They won the Daytona 500 for goodness sake, and now they've won at Indianapolis, which is I would argue two of the most holy ground spots in racing history or
agreed.
racetrack legacy. I think it's awesome that he pulled it off for his sake in his career to show, hey, I'm not just I'm back marker team. I think again, it just shows also this car and the kind of magic that it has around it of like, it's a car that really shines on road courses and we've seen it shine on road courses. So I think it's awesome for McDowell. I'm hopeful that he can like make it farther than he has in the years past. Now that he's in the playoffs, just for chaos reasons, because I love chaos.
Oh yeah, we're here for it.
But really cool weekend overall. Good for McDowell. Happy to see a different winner. I mean, he earned it. He outdueled Suarez and Elliott there to finish it off. So
Yeah, I mean, he had one of the fastest cars during the race, and he was consistently able to charge forward. And even when like Suarez had the lead for some of it, he was able to close that gap. And I know Suarez only led like what the first 6 laps, and then with the pit stops and everything like that, it was a mess. But regardless, really good job for McDowell. And if you didn't know at this point, Front Row Motorsports re-signed, or yeah, I guess re-signed McDowell and Gilliland for next season. So they're staying put, which I think is a really big positive. So the only thing that's not changing for, I mean, that is changing for Front Row is Zane Smith. He's now a free agent for Truck Series. So we don't know where he's going to end up. We're going to talk about a little bit of silly season news, though, in a few minutes. No, and then here's the thing, too. No, Heels Rule, you bring up a good point. Also, hello, Peter. We could be getting nervous for Harvick, with him and Brad so close on points. This weekend is considerably a good weekend for Elliott to potentially get a win. And we have McDowell could potentially get another win. Suarez could win his way in. So there's other drivers that have a chance to win this weekend. And then the unpredictability of Daytona comes into play as well. So I don't know. I mean, should we be worried about Harvick and Brad? Like, are you?
oh yeah, 1,000%. Like even if you take like just this weekend, so like let's say you've got guys like Elliott that could eat. Like I would argue Elliott's the favorite this
Yeah.
weekend after running second and probably almost should have winning Indy. Like he's the favorite this weekend. But also you've got Allmendinger, road course ringer. Yeah, Colleague's been slow this entire season, and that whole team, the 16 and the 31, have been dumpster fires. But road
Challenge.
course ringer could easily good at the Glen, could easily pull something off. Cindric, road course ringer. Sure, he's been quiet for Penske, but guess what? That's still a Penske Ford. Like has a chance to pull it off this weekend, and that's literally that's two guys that are 22nd and 20, or I can't read 21st and 22nd in points right now. Thank you.
I got you.
Like yeah, they're 21st, 22nd points that are outside the playoffs that could win, and that's just this weekend alone, not counting the chaos that could be Daytona. So like if I'm Harvick or Keselowski, I'm really worried, especially if I'm Harvick, like this in my last season and I may not even have a shot at the title. Like kind of stinks.
Yeah, and I think for Harvick too, more incentive to be worried. I know Harvick technically, I mean, if you look at the stats, he has better stats at road courses than Keselowski does. But SHR has kind of been hit or miss this season, while RFK has been very consistent. And when it comes to super speedways, I mean, Brad kind of takes the cake on that. So I would say if anyone can go into Daytona confident, I would look at Brad specifically. And just even to like, if you're Ryan Blaney, maybe Blaney's able to get another win before the playoffs. Even Bubba Wallace, he could probably win Daytona too. We know he's a great super speedway racer. So there's still a lot of possibilities left. And I think that's really exciting for us to go into the final 2 races of the season saying it's not over. Like at this point, I feel like we should be saying, it's definitely over. Nobody else is getting in seasons past. This season, not really the case. And John, I agree with you. I'm worried if Elliott doesn't win at Watkins Glen, he's not getting into the playoffs, which is also major for the sport. The most popular driver not racing for a championship and the impact that that has. But yeah, it'll be interesting. And I also will say, I was surprised with how just mediocre Cindric was at the Indy Road Course because he seemed really confident when I talked to him at Michigan about his chances. And but it just maybe they tried to figure something out at Indy that they now have solidified at Watkins Glen. I don't know, but I was just disappointed.
I think that two team they're the lame duck team out of the
Yeah.
Penske out of the Penske powerhouse right now. So like I think whether like that's a crew chief change or a car chief change or a personnel change, I feel like they're like one or two like people away from once they get that adjusted being a good team.
Mhm.
But like right now they are just they're the lame duck. They're just the third team that shows up and kind of exists right now. So like
Yeah, and I guess like my concern is I'm looking like 5 years from now, and I'm like, how is Cindric going to be? Like, is he going to kind of step up and have the performance that a Penske car needs to have? Granted, Penske's had a kind of rough season as a whole, uh, but I always like look towards the future for him specifically because I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I guess same with Ryan Blaney too. I mean, his performance hasn't been great. Of course, he has a win this season, but it's been up or down. It's not what we would expect. So it's for Penske, who's a powerhouse team, it's a little concerning, but
mhm.
not as concerning as other powerhouse teams or once powerhouse teams. Who knows?
Well, I mean Penske hasn't won since the
Yeah.
600. Yeah, like it's been a down year for that team overall. So, and like you can see it in the drivers too. Like they've all like made mistakes, like just not even like car issues or team issues, like driver issues too. Like it's just kind of been a messy year for that organization and program as a whole. So,
Yeah, and the other 4 teams have caught up. I mean, clearly. I mean, Ferro Motorsports and RFK. The thing with them, though, I would say is they've been running consistently all season or building all season long. It hasn't been like a huge up or a huge down for those teams. So I guess that would be the only difference. But that was, I mean, that's the Indy Road Course. Just kind of summarizing it there. So yeah, I'm excited to see what McDowell. He feels confident going into Watkins Glen too. He's like, I mean, I think we can go back to back. His crew chief, Travis Peterson, also thinks that they can go back to back. Another big one for him too. So I guess we'll just move into some like NASCAR news. Why not? Let's dive into it.
cool.
Um, so a few things to touch on real quick before I know we're gonna have to do a deep dive into like the NASCAR classics, and I guess we'll finish out with that. But just some updates here. We're not going to go totally into this, but 2 drivers, just specifically talking about the 2 drivers that were suspended indefinitely by NASCAR on behavioral issues. Chris Hacker and Jason White arrested with 4 DWIs. So they have been indefinitely suspended. Just to keep your eye out for that in case you were expecting them to race anytime soon. They will not be. Another thing too, I don't want to like I don't mean to like dust over this lightly, but I don't know if you guys follow Alex Bowman on social media. But his dog Roscoe sadly passed away, which was so disappointing. Because I mean, obviously he has a love for animals. His best friends, paint schemes, and all the work that he does for uh like animal shelters and everything like that. So just thoughts go out to Alex Bowman for sure. It's so hard to
Mhm,
lose a pet. But I know what he's doing and what others have tried to do is donating, I think, $48 to Best Friends to
mhm.
help support and just in the memory of Roscoe. So if you feel inclined to do that, definitely go ahead and do that. I know that they were trying to start an initiative there. So um, just something there too. But then I want to go and move on. I guess a huge shift in mood, I guess. But Austin Hill, I want to talk about this. This just got announced. Austin Hill is signing back with RCR for a multi-year contract extension. He will return to the Xfinity Series in 2024. So, Ben, how do you feel about that? I mean, you're shaking your head. You're like, yeah, all right.
I mean, expected.
Hi, Adam.
Like Adam is here. It's
Hello.
expected. It's an expected signing. He's done good for that team. He's done good for that group overall. He's won races. He has sponsorship. I think his dad owns like part of United Rentals or that's some deal there. I'm not 1,000% sure overall, but expected signing. Not really a lot of room for him to go up unless maybe like the Colleague 31 was an option, but I think he'd rather stay in a series that he feels more comfortable in. This is what he does. Like, he stayed in trucks for years, and then with Hattori at the time, and now he's jumped up to Xfinity, and this is what, year 3, coming
3?
on year
Yeah.
3, with RCR. So an expected signing, good for him. Hope, like, currently in the fight for the playoffs, and or at least he's going to be battling for an Xfinity Series title. So, like, good signing.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a good signing. And what I like about Austin Hill is he takes his time moving up, kind of like what you mentioned. I know some drivers can rush their way through to the top series and then they just fail and they have to move back down or their career ends. I think Austin Hill is doing this the smart way. And I think too, the other question that you brought up is, I mean, we thought that maybe he would move into the 31. That was kind of the rumor or what all the speculation was. Now the question is like, okay, well, who's going to move to the 31? Like, is there an open spot? We also know though, and I guess we can get into this a little bit, that there is a rumor from Door Bumper Clear that there might be some teams switching OEMs, which is a little interesting. The rumor is that SHR will move back to Chevy and that there is another team that Ford is scouting to switch to Ford. And the thought process is the team will probably shock you, is what the Door Bumper Clear guys said. So it's like, okay, is Colleague switching to Ford, which I don't see happening? And then the question is like, okay, well, who else? I don't know. I had another team in my head for this. But I don't know.
That's weird. I hadn't heard that at all, but I've also been in a mental fog or
That's
medically
valid.
induced sleep over the past month. I mean, like, I could totally see Tony going back to Chevy. Like, that was the whole deal with him leaving Gibbs, was he was pissed off at Toyota. So, like, he left and then went and made his own team, and they were Chevrolet. So, like,
Yeah.
I could see it doing it, because that was one thing too that I've thought about was the whole Josh Berry stuff. I was like, Chevy's really losing a good prospect, even though he's older, in Josh Berry. So, but like that, I could kind of see happening at some point, whether this year or down the line. Like, I could see it. So
Yeah.
I don't know who Ford would get unless it was like a lesser team. We know Legacy's going to Toyota, so that's one that Chevy's losing. But granted, like, Legacy's been bad,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. Yeah, I don't know who Ford. I don't think Colleague would leave because they're on RCR campus.
Right.
So, like, that's an interesting dynamic. So
Adam, can you think of another team? Because I literally had two in my mind as I was going to talk about this, and the only one that came to my brain in the moment was Colleague, and then I'm like, oh, the other one just left.
Ew. I mean, Colleague would be the one I would think. If they're saying it's a shocker, but don't forget, it could just be people blowing smoke about it.
That's
true.
true.
So it might be Spire. Oh, Spire's going to Ford. Oh, okay. Of the big team, yeah, right? Of the big teams, no, I really don't see Stuart Haas going back to Chevy yet. I see them going with maybe a new OEM in the future.
You think they'd go
Yeah.
new OEM before they'd go back to Chevy?
I think so. I think from
Really?
a cost perspective, I think that would be maybe a little more beneficial to them. Might get a
That's
little
fair,
more-
because they
a
seem
little
like the
more
team
surprise.
they
Right.
seem like the team that would be willing to take the risk more because, like, if you take, like, well, maybe Trackhouse you could add into there, but like Stuart Haas is like second for me. If a new OEM came in, they'd be like, yeah, let's do it, because they seem like the team that would do that.
Because
That's
too,
been
with the discontinuation of the Camaro, I mean, Chevy has to come up with a backup. So if this is the time for a Chevy team to switch, I guess it's now. But I mean, yeah, I think SHR would be willing to take the risk. And then the other thing that somebody pointed out too, and I don't think there's anything to it, but I'll just say it anyways, is with the Trackhouse and Busch Beer merchandise. Someone was like, "Oh, the Chevy logo is not on that, so that means that Trackhouse is going to switch to Ford." I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
They're like
that's a lot.
That probably has to do with licensing.
Oh, yeah.
they
Oh, yeah.
also like are part of the RCR shop or something too, or something like that. Still, I don't know. Like, it's a whole thing, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or like, did I dream that?
I don't
If
think
they're affiliated,
It was a
with-
long 2 weeks in the hospital. Like, a lot happened.
all we know is from our behind the scenes tour at Trackhouse is that Ray Kendrick has a lot of private cars in his collection, like on Trackhouse's campus.
Yeah.
That is something we found out.
Weird.
Yeah. So
But other
bizarre.
than that, it is what it is.
I'm fancy little private track house tour.
Yeah, everything's shiny.
What a great time. Ashton, good to see you in the chat. Heels Rule said, "Yeah, my opinion, Stuart Haas made a mistake switching to Ford. Kevin was at his best when they were getting Hendrick support."
I don't think they made a mistake at the time. Like it was like a short-term fix to a long-term like problem per
Yeah.
se.
Valid.
Like Chevy was down at the time and they made the switch and they did good, but like Chevy's now good, like fast again. It's just the evolution of this sport, you know, like Chevy's good for a while and then Ford dips and then Ford finds a way to be faster and
Just
then
like
Chevy
that, Adam.
like
Yep.
it's the ebb and flow of this industry, and obviously it's changed now with the new car where all parts are like built by the same, you know, provider. So
Yeah.
Even when Stuart Haas, when they had just switched to Ford, the driver that was succeeding for them was Harvick.
yeah,
Everybody,
like
he was
True.
miles ahead of everybody. But then again, he's been miles ahead of everybody on his team since he joined that team. And
Yeah.
Tony retired. So yeah, I mean it's
the ebb and flow of of the sport. That's just the way the world goes around.
Yeah. So I mean, there's some news rumors there. Other quick updates too. Just if you guys are like, I'm still so confused on the current state of NASCAR gaming and everything that's announced. I think Motorsports Games announced that they're like not doing NASCAR stuff anymore.
I think if I understand right, and again, I'm in a mental fog right now from everything that's happened, but I think if I understand right, they have officially that contract has been broken and nullified, and that they have parted ways. So Motorsport Games will no longer be working with NASCAR on any game at all moving forward. If I understand right, I'm
'Cause I
not
think that's
1,000% sure, so don't quote me on that. Don't take me to court. Please don't take me to court. I don't have a lot of healthcare bills to pay. Lost the exclusive rights to the game.
There
Thank
we
you,
go.
Denny Rumble.
there you go.
Love
Also,
the
if
name.
that's your last name, that's a cool last name.
It's so cool.
So I just want to say that.
Rumble
Too. So, but they've lost the license so that it's now up for grabs for whoever wants it at this point. So
Yeah, so I'm curious about that because I heard that and I'm still like, there's so much that's going on. So I don't know. It's
yeah,
that's amazing.
That's awesome. I love that for you so much.
I wish, okay, I will say my last name. I love having the last name Kitchen. It's just fun, but like Rumble's
so
amazing.
cool. So yes, that now means that NASCAR licensing for games is up for bid. So and you have a lot of people that are a lot of people want to go back to the EA days. That's gone. That's long gone. Also, like as someone who has a toe in the games industry, EA is kind of a mess when it comes to their annual release sports games.
Oh yeah.
I would not want NASCAR's baby to go back to EA because EA Sports has royally ruined a lot of good former games of yesteryear.
Yeah, the EA franchise. Oh, sorry, Adam. No, you're good. The EA like name and franchise has really like kind of ruined a lot of sports games. As someone who covers that, I know a lot of people are looking to. I don't think they have a technical like developer name, but a lot of people are looking to iRacing because they helped make that World of Outlaws dirt game a couple months ago for consoles. Maybe it was last year at this point. It's all a blur. But like a lot of people are looking to, iRacing. A lot of people are looking to that group to be able to build the game. And obviously,
arcade style for the average person, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. And obviously, you have literally Redneck Jesus 2.0 that helps work at iRacing to help build that if he wants to. So like it's a very a lot happened, and it's a very interesting and exciting time if you're a NASCAR gaming fan, because this really kind of throws cards up in the air and kind of curious to see where it lands because it could go many different ways.
Right. And I think Turn 10 Studios would be interesting. I mean, right now, it's Game Mills Entertainment. They're making a new NASCAR game. It's NASCAR Arcade Rush, which is the arcade style, just kind of your general. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Rumble. There's another game that reminds me of too that I literally played on live stream like continuously at the beginning.
NASCAR Unleashed.
Thank you, my God. NASCAR Unleashed, which honestly, kind of one of my favorite games, and don't hate me for that. But so I guess the point of the news piece there is now NASCAR Arcade Rush has a release date. It's September 15th, which when the news came out, they were like, it's going to be released later this year. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, so we're probably thinking like November, like
Less than a month.
Yeah, I'm like, this is next month. Like, so really, it's coming up really fast for all gaming consoles. So
wow. Also, like, I will add, as much as like probably this chat and us as humans and NASCAR fans hate motorsports games and like that whole like time frame of like NASCAR or whatever the first one was to NASCAR heats and all that, like I do want to give my respects to them for what they did, because they did tie us over for that time, and it was exciting a little bit to get NASCAR games again, and really cool and fun to have those again back in our lives. So thank you. You were a horrible company, though, when you ran it into the ground, but that's an argument for another day. They did.
Yes, they did, unfortunately.
But you're right, though. Like, they saved, or I guess, tied us over for a little bit. Like, the Heat 4, Heat 3, Heat 2, Heat Evolution, all those things. So, yeah, I mean, they tied us over. But, I think getting someone new invested, I think, will be really good for the fans. I think at some point we're going to have to stop complaining about the games. So, you never know.
We're striving for perfection.
We always do. And even if we get perfection, there's always something else. We're always like, ooh, but this should be different. But I think get somebody else in, get us a new game, and then we'll all hopefully be held over for a little bit longer. But that's the news with the game. I wanted to mention too, SRX concludes tonight, correct? This is their last race at Lucas Oil.
Yes.
Can I go on a soapbox for a minute? I know I obviously haven't been here for like...
You know what? That's my face. Ben, go for it.
Oh, gosh. You're making me full screen here. Oh, gosh. I'm going to be honest. And like, I spent like 2 weeks in a hospital recently. So like I had time to watch these races, and I did. Like, I haven't given a crap about SRX this season. I could care less. Like, it's not been good. I watched the first one, and then I was like, okay, this was a race. And it was, and then I watched half the next one, and I was like, yeah, I don't care.
Valid.
And granted, they're both at Stafford, and then Berlin, like, and I like Berlin. I think it's a fun track. I think it's a cool little track. Oh, she's letting her hair down. She's getting ready to fight.
I'm sorry. That's bothering me for a second.
Like, Berlin's a cool track. I love that track as a whole. It's on the Arcade Tour, and I really get excited for when it comes out. But like Berlin, like it was a race, and then last week at Eldora, like,
yeah,
like the only thing that was, what's up?
Eldora had the All-Star race field this year.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're right.
It was like a one-legged butt-kicking contest.
Yeah, that's like, I'm Tony Stewart. This is my series at my track. I legally have to win. Like, that's all it is.
Bang.
Like, I don't know. I just, like, I haven't given a crap about SRX this season, and I think it's silly now. And I think they need to change. I think they need to overhaul the schedule and do more with it.
Yeah.
Like, go to different tracks now. Like, go to tracks, like short tracks in like California or like anywhere else besides the same 5 places, and then we'll be okay. That's my tangent for it. I apologize. Everyone have a good night.
I can agree with that, and I think a good fix would be less stock car drivers. Let's get more unpredictability with people who are foreign to this, like more IndyCar guys, more dirt guys, more drag racers. That was fun watching Ron Capps wheel a dirt.
Yes.
That was awesome. But you got to think outside the box, because if you don't, it's going to get stale. And I think this season it got really stale.
Yeah, that's a big part of it too. Is it's just like all the old NASCAR guys, and then like Elio Castroneves.
Yeah, and I think
like the all-star old indie guys.
right, and I think going into this season, I was kind of excited because I'm like, wow, all these NASCAR guys. But then the thing was like, okay, now there's so many NASCAR regulars that are still racing NASCAR that were racing, and it's. I think the appeal when it first started and the SRX was first announced was it's going to be drivers that you haven't seen race in a while. It's going to be drivers from many different disciplines. It's the superstars of all motorsports, and it's become more so the superstars of NASCAR, like you said, Ben, with a sprinkle of like maybe an IndyCar star. And then we didn't end up bringing in like our short track heroes or our local heroes to the track until Paul Tracy was let go from the series. And I think that was magical about what the series did last year. I thought that was fun to kind of see these local aces become cool.
Can someone? Sorry, I was in a medically induced sleep at this point. What happened to Paul Tracy? Because it was literally I woke up and he was like gone from the series, and they're like he's been suspended. Like, what for?
Well, in short, he did what he always does, and management finally had enough of it, and he was royally sacked.
Okay. See, I didn't know because the way I like when I first woke up and everything was really foggy. When I first woke up, it made it sound like they did Thursday Night Thunder at Stafford, and then like the next night he was still there at the track, and then like either wrecked people or like got into a physical altercation. And again, I was in a foggy moment, so I probably made half that up, but it made it sound like he had like stayed after the track and like gotten in an altercation with like other fans and stuff or something.
What the defining moment of all of this is when he just clobbered Joseph Newgarden into the wall for no reason. No reason. It took out half the field.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. So I think rightfully so. I mean, I think the first 3 races, in my opinion, were respectfully tarnished by Paul Tracy because he just wrecked cars randomly during those races. And I was like, where's the racing? We're just seeing wrecking, and that's not entertaining. And I don't know what the idea was. I don't know what Paul was thinking. If he just, I really don't know. But
yeah, got to be a heel.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would agree with you, Ben. This season has been a little lackluster, and I don't know the reason for that. I mean, I know we mentioned some, but I was expecting more. I think if you expanded the schedule, maybe do like 10 races. And if you want to keep it like a short series instead of the 6 that you have, make it a little bit more substantial. I don't know if you expand the field. I think too, they're also working on a budget. And I think last weekend we saw with Eldora, or I guess last week, was the cars got clobbered and Austin Dillon wasn't able to continue racing because of it because they only had 3 backups. But, so I appreciate what SRX is doing. I really do. And I think there's something special there, but I think it's time to refine it a little bit.
Yeah, it needs a retouching up. Especially like last year, at the end of last year, I felt that's kind of like now is how I kind of felt at the end of last year. And I was like, they really need to revamp this or redo this if they're gonna do this on ESPN too. Like, we're not on CBS Sports Network or CBS Saturday nights. Like, we're on cable TV at like prime time hours in the summer when they could be airing a baseball game, and like they've kind of, I would argue, swung and a miss. So
yeah, I will say though, Heels Rule brings up a point. We might see a new champion this season. So 3 seasons, 3 different champs.
Ryan.
Yeah, I think
no neck.
All you have to do is like start the race and he's the champion.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
he just needs to breathe as he walks into the racetrack.
I don't know. Toby has the points standings on the website. I thought. Hold on. Let me.
This is our branded commercial break. Get all your racing news at TobyChristie.com. Brought to you by Toby Christie and Joseph Shrigley and a few others, myself included, when I'm not recovering.
Absolutely.
Is there an SRX tab? There's an SRX tab. 2023 point standings.
Perfect.
As of now, Ryan Newman leads by 39 points. Ironic because his number's 39 over Tony Stewart. Marco Andretti's 3rd. Brad Keselowski's 4th. Bob. Yeah, it's Bob. Bobby Labonte 5th. Haley Deegan 6th. And Ken Schrader 7th. Paul Tracy somehow is labeled technically 8th, but he's not ran the full races, and then everyone else has just ran 1 race. So there's only 7 guys full time, and they're all.
And that's the thing. You need more guys that are full time, I think, too. In my opinion, I think that's the thing. Yeah.
So I just don't think it's a good series anymore.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have fever dreams about Kyle Busch winning in a Florida Panthers car for the rest of my life, though.
Oh my
So that's a
God.
nice thing to have out.
It's
Two
so
for two.
bizarre.
It's like
2 for 2.
the most random thing in my life.
Concerned about the TV
400,000.
ratings for SRX this year. The first Stafford race didn't even reach 400,000
Okay,
viewers.
number one, that's not good. Number two, and John, this isn't directed at you. Race fans obsess way too much over TV ratings. That's all I'm gonna say.
Valid. Mood.
I love you, John. Though you're a great man.
We do love John. All right. I think getting to the story of the hour before we start to kind of wrap things up a little bit. There's a website that came out called NASCAR Classics.
What a treasure trove.
Speaking of Mr. History Books himself, Dom Joseph has joined the chat.
Oh, I just realized that his like logo is like his like never mind. I just realized that. I was always curious and I just saw it. So
it's like the Buckeyes.
yeah. I have a college degree, I promise.
You're good. You're good.
He is an OHIO guy.
Yeah, he's the OHIO dude. But like NASCAR, let me see. Hold on. I was gonna pull up the tab. Come on, Taylor, get it together. Get it together. There we go. NASCAR Classics.
There she is.
Over 1,000 races are on this website. You can categorize it by track, by year. But these are the 75 greatest on this home tab right here for fans to watch for free, by the way, with no ads. Like, incredible. This is major. There's literally NASCAR fans complain a lot because we want things to be perfect. I know this. I haven't seen anyone complain about this. So that's saying something, but this is actually incredible.
This is a
saw
dub.
one complaint about it, but I'm not even going to mention what it is. I'll mention it off of our broadcast on what it's about.
I
think Ben might know what it is, but yeah,
I think I know
like,
what
really,
it
you're
is.
going to complain about that one thing? That's just pathetic.
Oh, I thought you were going to complain. I
know
had
exactly
one
what it
complaint. I thought you were going to talk about the thing that I said on Twitter today, but
No.
I figured.
But this right here, this is the absolute. It's more than a gold mine. It's
Dover 84. That photo of Mike Joy is the best photo I've seen in my life.
Yes.
Yeah. No, this is a huge dub because like I used to in college, like when I would study for classes, I would go on YouTube and find some random person that had uploaded like the 1990 Die Hard 500 satellite feed too. So I got the raw, like just straight up, like, and I would just throw that on the background while I studied for like Com 210, like quizzes and all that jazz. So like this is the bread and butter of like what, and this is the thing too. It's free to the fans. Yeah. Like, I don't know, like, does the NFL do this with like prior games? I don't think so.
No.
I know NHL doesn't do it. They throw back taped games on NHL Network, but like there's not a website for free where I can go back and watch the Flyers 97 Cup run. I mean, maybe on YouTube I can find like Joe Schmoes who have taped the games and left them up illegally, but
I mean, I have a confession to make about this. Like before this was announced on Monday, I watched the 2000 and 2001 Brickyard 400 back to back.
It's a great. Those are good. Those are good races. So don't worry.
They were. They really were, especially in 2001. My guy did it. He did a lot that year. That was a good year for him.
I know some people pointed out like there are some races that are like glaringly missing from this. I think like the 2001 Daytona 500 is not on here. For example,
I knew that, but I'm curious now as to there's one race in particular that I'm thinking of that I wonder if they've left out from this service. Can you all guess which one I'm thinking of?
Did it happen in the strange year that was only a few years ago?
No, it was 2008. Oh shoot, it's not on here. Interesting.
Oh, it's not. What are you thinking of, bud?
The 2008 Brickyard. The tire calamity.
No, Ben, no. I don't need that type of PTSD, please.
Well, like, I obviously, like, they don't have, like, this is the thing of, like, they don't have every single race up because it goes from the 08 500 to Bristol. Like, that's not, that's not, there's several races that they've missed in that, like, time frame.
Right.
But, like,
But they have a good chunk of
They,
these.
yeah,
races.
they've got a
2013
ton.
Coke 600 on there.
The which
What's
one?
that?
2013 Coke 600.
Give me a minute. I'll see if I can find it.
Year.
Oh,
It's a very slow site, but also like it has a ton of video on it. So
yeah.
I think everyone's got to be trying to use it.
yeah, also like probably thousands of us are sitting on our computers right now trying to watch
The only
races.
Oh yeah, they got it.
They do. My only
Yeah.
question, I wonder if it's been edited out, the old high wire accident.
Ooh, let's hold on. I'll
Oh.
skim through it real fast and see for you.
I got to live it. It happened 3 rows in front of me.
Oh
You could have
God.
almost
Yeah,
died.
it dropped. It not no. No, but it did.
I also like how it says loading experience when it loads.
Yeah.
Like I just find that funny.
So fun.
We can go back and relive Taylor's rain delayed 600 adventures from this year.
Oh God, awful. I swear. Okay, so I think I'm gonna be at the Roval in October, and if that rains out,
for the
I'm going
invite.
to be mad.
I
Everyone can
mean,
blame
a
me.
wet Roval wouldn't be the worst.
It wouldn't be like I think it'd be fun, but also if it monsoons, we're not going to be racing.
Yeah, we
And-
can't do what happened in 2020.
No.
The Xfinity race, that was a mess.
I'm trying to see. Going through the timeline. Oh well.
Excuse me.
Hold
I
on. Sorry,
apologize
wrong.
for sniffling.
Mhm.
They
you're good.
I can't find it, but on the timeline they don't have the cable.
Interesting. They also have, by the way, in case you're wondering, you can look on the website, of course, but they also have a YouTube page for the NASCAR Classics.
It's not as full though. I checked
It's
it
not-
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I checked it this
Mm.
morning because like my only like complaint that I've had with this is that they need to make a like Roku app or an Apple TV app.
Yes.
Yes,
Because it'd
that'd
be
be cool.
so much more accessible. Especially for someone like me right now who can't stand the sit in his computer chair for a very long period of time or like is not around a computer. Like if they made this a TV app, oh my gosh, I would just spend every single day of my life now wasting away watching races.
For real.
I would never be bored
Yeah.
because by the time I would get through this entire library, I'd forget what I'd already watched, and then I'd go back to the beginning.
Yeah, that's the thing. So that's my thing. Like, I need to have my full focus on these races while I'm watching them, or else I'm gonna forget. Like, I want to be fully focused, so I can't have these on while I'm working, which is the downside because I'm always working. So like late at night, like if I'm going to bed, I'm like, okay, we're gonna watch a race, and then I'm like, before I know it, it's gonna be like 5 a.m. I'm like, crap, I just watched like 2 races. So
Yeah.
How about Watkins Glen?
honestly, well, okay, what race would you guys? What race did you guys start with watching? Because you guys have already.
I've
Got
only
into
like messed around with it for like 5 or 10 minutes. I tried to do today to watch 97 Glen because I love Mark Martin. And
Absolutely.
I could only get it to work for like 30 seconds and then it would just stop. But I was trying to like broadcast it through an iPad to my TV because again, I want to watch it on my TV, which I guess is just too much to ask for right now. But like the service itself is good, but like I think like we just said, it's very overloaded right now with a bunch of us just trying to watch old races and stuff.
Yesterday on my lunch break, I turned on the 2005, I think it was Top Secret 500 from California. This is one of their Labor Day races.
Yeah.
It was hot. Kyle Busch got the win. So, spoiler alert.
Dang it, Adam! I'm just kidding.
I also like
there.
this is a random thing. Do any of you remember back in the day with Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the Speed
Yeah.
Channel?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Adam, you do. Taylor,
I wasn't privileged enough.
it's okay. So like they used to do this series called Back in the Day. It was races cut like old races. And I'm talking like 70s
Really
races, like 70s races with Petty versus Pearson and Yarborough and all that. And they would take them and they would cut them down to like 30 minutes or like a 30-minute run slot. So technically they'd be like 21 minutes, 22 minutes. They have Dale Earnhardt Jr. just like host them and like read fun facts off and cut the broadcast down to like a 30-minute slot. I would love to see more of that with some of these like races from the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. Just to kind of like make them a little bit more digestible for a lunch break or something like that. So,
Oh yeah, like for like lunch breaks and stuff, that would be awesome. Because that's my thing. Like on my lunch break, I'm like, I want to start a race, but I don't want to start it and stop halfway. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Also,
I totally skimmed through that 2005 race yesterday.
oh yeah.
I just got to like the meaty good parts that I could either remember or just
Matt,
kind of
I'm gonna start 2011 season tomorrow, Matt, and I'm gonna judge.
Yeah, Matt was one of the heroes that worked on this project behind the scenes for NASCAR, so that's awesome.
That's really cool, actually.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Let's.
So how about the Glen, Taylor?
Huh?
Give us some stats about the Glen.
Yeah, let's focus on the Glen moving forward. We'll wrap this up a little bit. So race length 90 laps. We all know miles of the race 220.5 miles. Track length. The stages. So finally, I think it's been a while since we had a race where stages 1 and 2 were the same lengths. So we have that stage 3. 50 laps, and then because it's a road course, I like to change up the stats just a little bit. So of course, last driver to win at the track, Larson. Active driver with the most track wins is a 3-way tie. My God, between Elliott, Larson, and Busch. Best overall average finish at the track. No surprises here. I think for me, just because I haven't been like, I don't know, but I don't think of Kyle Busch as like a great road course racer. That's just my personal, like how I perceive him sometimes, but he's up there with the best overall average finish at Watkins Glen. I mean, I guess that makes sense with his 2 track wins. And then we do have, is this the video from Dom? Oh no, not yet. That's coming up. And then of course we have our top 10s from 2021 and 2022 with the drivers, and of course, and highlighted in yellow are the drivers that kind of carried over 2 years in a row. Let's see if this works. I don't know if I have to like get into the PowerPoint. I do. Hold up. Dom, if you're in the chat, I'm sorry.
He's like in turn 11. It looks like.
This is Dom's face after he's eaten a lovely slice of lasagna.
Yes.
Just admire the happy look on his face.
Let's see. Let's go. I should have had this pulled up. So this is all my bad. Sorry, you guys.
It's okay.
We love it. Okay. Hopefully this works. If not, I will just tell him. I'll just say his question for us. But here we go. Maybe this works. No. Oh, no.
My man, get some AirPods. It's 2023. Why are you still wearing wired headphones?
Well, shoot. Well, that makes me upset. Well.
Darn.
Well, I'll tell you what his question was. Dom, I'm sorry this didn't work out, but his question was, hold on. Which lane would you choose at Watkins Glen if you're going on the final lap, going into the final 2 turns, would you choose to start on the outside or the inside, and why? Because either lane that you choose, I mean, drivers have been able to make it work and win from either one. So it's what lane do we see these drivers choosing this weekend if we have a late restart? If drivers are close neck and neck on the final lap, what would you suggest?
Are we like when we say inside? Are we saying inside of turn 1, like the shorter way around turn 1?
We're talking about like I think Dom's question was like the final turn,
left right.
Yeah, like the final left right.
Okay, that I would want. Oh man.
Yeah, he posed a really tricky question.
That is a tricky one because I've seen a guy win it and lose it by going wide.
Yeah, 10 and 11.
I'm taking outside. So like, because you can do the crossover.
That's true.
Like if you do outside 10, you can do crossover. You can double back.
I think so because if I can carry enough momentum and kind of just ride through turn 10, if I can at least hold the inside going into the final turn, I think I can win it down the straightaway.
I'm doing outside. I think because outside too, I could pin you down. Like if I'm on your outside going through the final corner, I'm holding you down so tight against that Armco barrier, you're not going to be able to breathe.
Honestly,
but see, I can do the same thing to you. I can push you all the way up almost into the wall.
Then we're dooring the heck out of each other, and the grass is going to go around.
We're gonna hit. Somebody's hitting. Someone's gonna make it. Someone's not gonna make it.
And then I'll be in third, taking advantage of that happening, and I'll win the race.
You'll ka-chow by us.
I definitely will.
You want to know what's going to happen, Ben? What's going to happen is I think it was it 2008 when Gilliland and Hornish hit the attenuator.
Yeah, because they killed each other because Bobby Labonte hurt his appendix or something, and he was almost out the next week because I was a Labonte fan at the time. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, that's the kind of carnage we're gonna cause if we come out of there, me and you side by side.
It's okay. I'm going for a win. It's worth it.
Hey, it's worth it.
Dom in the chat, I don't know if you explicitly said which lane you would choose, but I'm curious. He made this whole video.
He said his the only thing I've seen him say is because the mic on my AirPods don't work.
Mood. Valid.
Sorry, I didn't know. I apologize.
It's okay. Yeah, I think I have the video up on my YouTube. If you guys want to hear him ask the question and then comment on my YouTube page, definitely do that. Sorry the video didn't work, you guys.
It's an interesting question.
It really is.
Because like me and Ben just discussed, but yeah, you can maneuver it two different ways. It's just
it really is a matter of the driver.
Yeah, if it's Ross Chastain, you're probably gonna get hit. If it's like, I don't know, if it's like Denny Hamlin, he may or may not, depends on how you've raced him recently.
Right.
Yeah, you really don't know.
Well, for the Glen, we kind of previewed this already. I mean, but who do we feel has a good weekend? I know we talked about our road course ringers like Chase Elliott. We got, I mean, even Daniel Suarez, maybe Michael McDowell. Do we feel like anyone unsuspected out of that group could potentially win and get in? Are we thinking they're going to be the usual suspects like your Larson, your Elliott's?
I think we're going to see the usual suspects. I don't see anybody with outside of or anyone that hasn't won that's on the cusp of trying to get into the playoff. I don't see them getting it done. I don't see Allmendinger even really. They have been so cold this season when it comes to road courses. It's almost like
it's just been cold.
It's been such an off year for them at road courses. It's uncharacteristic.
It's usually, I mean, it's his bread and butter. So like,
yeah,
he would have been the one guy I would say, yeah, he has a legitimate shot of still getting in, but as of what I've seen this season, no, I don't think so. I hate saying that, but yeah, no, I don't think so.
I mean, they like, if there's one person that I look at and I think, yeah, he's crazy enough that like anything could happen, it's AJ. Like, he's crazy enough that anything could happen. Like, now is he the favorite? No, but he, like, that team, like, I never like fully count them out. There's a reason why I always put Dinger on my road course picks email that I send to Adam every week. But I think it's going to be the usual suspects.
Too, buddy, so you're good.
Yay. That's why I kind of threw that in there. I just wanted to make sure. I just want to make sure the email side. Like, this road course is so much more different than any other road course that we go to. Yeah. Because this road course is so, number one, shorter. Like, it's such a shorter style road course. And number two, it's so fast compared to Sonoma or Coda or like, arguably this is very similar to the Roval, except this is an actual classic road course.
Yeah.
The Roval's a little bit more tighter and a little bit more slower and technical, but like, this road course is so insanely fast. And this is like, if you were to ask me my favorite track, this is my favorite track, truly, because it's so much fun to watch people hustle cars around here. Like, it's such a fun track. And so I think it's going to be the usual players, but I definitely am not going to count out guys like Dinger and people that like are good road course ringers here, because there's just something about this track that like you can just hustle a car around here and be fast. There's just something about it. It's a special track.
Do yourself a favor, Taylor, between tonight and the race on Sunday. Watch some of the classic Glen races.
2012.
That was my goal. I'm going to do it.
2012, early 2000s, mid 90s. Yeah, that was prime. Anything in there, good stuff.
Well, folks, let's join me this weekend before the race and just like on your own, watch the classic Glen races to prepare yourself for this weekend. It's going to be a good one. There's a lot on the line for a lot of drivers. And this is the last race where we'll have a sense of predictability before we go into Daytona, the final race of the regular season. But that has been it for us at Above the Yellow Line for this live stream on a Thursday night. Thank you all so much for joining us. Make sure to get all your NASCAR news at TobyChristie.com and other great motorsports content. And also from us at Above the Yellow Line, our usual episodes drop every Monday on all podcasting platforms and on YouTube as well for race recaps. I want to start throwing some more news into those episodes, so we'll probably do some more news bits in that. So be on the lookout for that. And at some point, yeah, we should probably do a NASCAR Classics watch party. I have something I'm working on behind the scenes, so just stay tuned for that.
Mystery Science Theater is finally happening.
We love this. And of course, follow us on our social media platforms. Our social media usernames are on the screen for you here. They're a little small, but the above the line usernames are up bigger on the screen for you. Of course, during this live stream, if you scan the QR code in the top left corner, that's where you can find all of us and all of our stuff all in one place. So make sure to check that out, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us again on a Thursday night. If you watch SRX, enjoy that. Also, mental health matters. Check yourself, check your mental health, check in on your friends. Thank you all so much for joining. We're so glad to have Ben back. So glad to have Adam here. We love you all, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.